Hey, what's up? I am Tony Making Food Mata, and this is a little Tony Talk, a modified view in the culinary industry. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a day in the life. A day in the life of a chef or a cook. So, typically, you wake up and you're like, man, I got to go to work. Oh man, you might wake up with a hangover. You might wake up next to a hot girl and you're like, whoa. And you're like, don't have a hangover. You might just wake up, be ready to go. But usually you're like getting excited to go into work. At least me, I get excited whenever I want. Whenever I get to go into work, I'm like, all right, well, what are these new set of obstacles? What's going to happen? Is somebody going to call off? Like as a chef, like somebody going to call off? Is my order going to be right? Is Cisco not going to drop off the right stuff? Am I going to have to do some paperwork? Do I have a meeting? Like this, that, and the other. Like I have all these things as a chef. I'm like, man, all these things are hitting through my brain. But then I realized that this is chef life, and this is the life that I chose. As a cook, you might be waking up and thinking like, oh man, I gotta go to work, I hate this job, I don't know, screw the chef, this, that, and the other. You might be like, man, who do I gotta work with? I gotta work with Randy, I gotta work with Tommy, I gotta work with Tommy Lightpants. Is he gonna call out for chicken tenders again and not need them, and he's gonna be sitting down there eating them? I don't know. But like things like that, you start thinking about your day. So usually when I get up, like I said, I start thinking about my day, get some coffee, slam a Red Bull, shotgun a Red Bull, I don't know, maybe shotgun 2 Red Bulls. There's a YouTube video on that. But I get ready for work, and then as I mentioned, my driving to work, I think about right now it's like, what game's going on? What's the attendance? How many people? What stations do I have up? How many concession stands do I have up? All these things flow in through my mind as I'm going through the day, or just about to start my day, going to work, go through security, this, that, and the other. Whenever you go into work, I always recommend going into work not in your chef uniform. I think it's kind of tacky when I see people sitting out at the bus stop in their chef uniforms. I get it. Or people at the bar in your chef uniform, like after work. I mean, come on, man. Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, I don't really agree with that. Also, like, if I have my uniform at work, then it's nice, pressed, neat, pristine. This is how I want it to be. If I get on the bus or going to work, I have a cat, buddy cat's hair might be on my pants, might get contaminated into the food, this, that, and the other. I always prefer having my uniform at work, get changed at work. Get changed in your uniform. When you put that uniform on, that's when it's like chef mode, cook mode, or whatever. You put that uniform on, you have that sense of pride, like, okay, I'm the chef, I'm the cook, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do that. It's like when Superman puts on his uniform or outfit or whatever, his cape. That's what it is when I put on my chef jacket. It's like my Superman cape. So you get into work, usually you will look over like rezos, see what kind of reservations you got going on. Look at parties, reservations, start a prep list. If you're a cook, then go to the chef, the morning supervisor, and ask them what needs to be done, what's urgent, where's the prep list. If they don't have one made, help the chef out, make one. If you're working a station, you should probably know what you need to get prepped for service. A good prep cook, a good seasoned cook, knows what they need to get done first. Order of operations, my friends. So you get your prep list in, right? One thing that I hate or I've came across a couple of restaurants or some scenarios is people will be like, oh, well, it wasn't on the prep list. I don't know. It wasn't on there, so I didn't get it done, so now I'm out. Well, you knew that it was out. Oh, well, it wasn't on the prep list, so I didn't really have to do it. Well, that's just you being a punk. That's you being a toxic cook. That's one of the other episodes about toxicity in the kitchen. So, we get our prep list, right? We start knocking out some prep. For me, like I'll come in, I'll write the prep list the night before. I'll talk to the morning supervisor. Hey, what's going on? Do you need this, that, and the other? What do you need? I'm going to work on this. We can work on that. How's so-and-so feeling today? This, that, and the other. You communicate with your team. You know, especially as a chef, as a higher level, you got to communicate and you got to delegate. You got to delegate these prep lists and these items to them. I found that over the course of my career that delegating people and letting them make their own decisions, seeing what they do, then going back. If they did it right, then hey man, you did it right. If they did it wrong, be like, hey, maybe next time try it this way. And I feel that if you do that as a chef, it kind of walks through your team, your associate, your supervisor, your prep cook, whoever it is. It shows them a little bit of problem solving techniques, and it kind of lets them kind of fumble through it, I guess, if you will. Because at the end of the day, one of the most beautiful things about a kitchen is that if you mess up, then you know what not to do next time. So you braised something too high and it just didn't work out. You sauteed something too long. You deep fried something at the wrong temperature. You cooked something like, well, now you know what not to do next time and you don't do it. Okay, so I'll talk to my supervisors and then I'll see what's going on, sense of urgency, and then I might hit up the office and be like, hey, what's going on? Answer some emails, this, that, and the other, and then I'm running back in the kitchen, seeing what's going on with them, hopping in when I need to hop in, and then it might be, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours in, and then it's like, oh man, maybe I should probably eat. So, I don't know, there was this YouTube video that's been going around. It was on Facebook, and it was like literally a line cook like crouched underneath like a counter just eating something really, really fast, and like you seen him look like over here, and like sometimes that's what you gotta do, man. At least he was eating out of the view of the public, eating down on like down away from the food stuff to prevent cross-contamination. I've had Expo wings so many times with Beth in Made in Detroit, you know. I mean, sometimes you just got to smash some food out real quick and then go into work. I hate it when I have team members that just come right in and they're like, what do you got to eat? Where's my food? Or what's going on? Or like, I got to eat some food first. It's like, what were you doing all day? You could have ate something first. You could have had a lunch. You could have had, yeah, I understand that this is a kitchen, but don't just come in and start eating. Like, I know you're a cook. I know you're a chef or whatever, but, I mean, don't just come in and start eating some food, and then you're going to start talking to some people, and then, like, then you're going to waste a half an hour, 45 minutes before service starts, and what are you doing? And then you might run out of something because you were too busy, like, eating and, like, talking and socializing, rather than getting your station set up and coming in ready to work. You know, so like my usual general rule is for my cooks is, hey, you got, like, don't eat anything for like 2 hours. You know, then you can eat something. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. That's how it is. So like, I'll sit there and I'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to smash something out. And like, as chefs, everybody thinks that like, oh, well, we eat fillets and we eat ribeyes and we eat Wagyu and we eat all this fancy food. But if you're going to eat your shift meal Make it like something that you have left over. Make it like from a series of ingredients that might expire. Ask the chef. Make a family meal for everybody. Don't just make one thing for you. When I was helping out in this restaurant over the summer, I took it upon myself to start making family meal, and because I seen that the one cook would always make something for himself and then like get off the line and then go smash it out. But like, I don't think that's really kind of like fair. I mean, so I seen that, so then I started just making a family meal. I remember one time I made this like giant like Philly, and I was like, great, and everybody was like, what are you doing? And I was like, yes, this is what I do. And I was putting like the lid on, and it was like great. And then I felt bad because Kendra, I forgot that she couldn't eat dairy, and I was like, oh man, she couldn't have any of that cheese. So that kind of sucked. So like, you make a family meal for these for your people if you're cooking. You don't just go into the walk-in, make whatever, make this extravagant thing, to have a half an hour to eat your food. Like I was saying, like 9 times out of 10, you got like 10 minutes to smash out some food. If your establishment lets you smoke cigarettes, go smoke a cigarette. Jump right back on the line. Like, that's what it is. That is chef life, and that's just what it is. Because if I'm taking that half an hour, 45 minutes to prepare my meal, and then another half an hour to eat my meal, and that's a whole lot of time out of the shift that I'm just focusing on myself and not the guests. And you got to focus on the guests. So I'm just like, if you have something to eat or make something to eat, just eat it real quick. Don't be eating over your station. Don't eat over your station. I can't stand that. Like, somebody will be like having their food, or they'll have it right next to their station, their cutting board, start cutting some stuff, take a couple bites, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh, well, it's mine, I'm going to eat it. Like, no, like, don't. Take 5 minutes, eat that real quick, and then come back to work. Just do it. Follow the rules, and you'll be all right. So then maybe, like, I'll get something to eat, and then it's like, okay, well, now I know that service is in like an hour. So then I start looking at my mise en place, seeing what's going on, talking to my chefs. When I worked at Wolfgang, it was like, okay, well, who's gonna run expo? Who's gonna do this? I'll do this. I'll knock out the orders. You run the line. I'll float the line. So like, that's how we used to run Wolfgang Puck. So we started thinking about the dinner rush, or service, as if you will, as we call it. So you think about service, and then day in life, like I said, like, you come in, you get yourself situated, get your prep list, start working on your prep, maybe eat some food, and then it's like go time, it's service. And now there's times when I've been at Kid Rock and service goes by like that, and it's 10 o'clock already. When you looked up at first, it was 5. So you get that 5-hour rush. It's just like ticket after ticket after ticket. You have to, probably maybe solve these solutions. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So don't forget to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. As I was saying, you might have to solve these solutions. You got these immense ticket times, these pressures, this little pressure within service that you have to be able to knock it out. Like, you have to be able to, maybe somebody has a gluten allergy, maybe somebody is allergic to something, maybe somebody is allergic to something else. Like, you have to be able to knock that stuff out in these short periods of time. That creates like problem-solving techniques within your brain. What can you do? This, that, and the other. And then you get that adrenaline rush, and you're rocking out on the line. You're just like, yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, bah! And it gets pretty intense, and it gets pretty live on the line. For me, running multiple outlets, I might have to check in on this area, then I might have to go check in on this area, then I got to go fly over here to this area. Maybe they need something, then I might hop on the radio, hey KT, I might need this, or hey Cam, I need this, or Jalen, let's get this. Work together as a team to make sure that service rolls smoothly, and then that's what we have to do. So during that dinner rush, we have to be prepared for almost anything. But if we don't take these proper steps to get up to where we need to be, it kind of messes things up, and it kind of if we're lazy in the beginning, if we don't set ourselves up for success, then it kind of messes us up on the tail end. All those little things that you forgot to do, maybe you didn't wash your parsley, maybe you didn't mince your parsley, maybe you forgot to small dice your onion, maybe you were messing around, you forgot to stock up your ribs, you forgot to butcher your chicken, you forgot to check your mashed potato consistency. I don't know, all these things, and you didn't do it because you were messing around before you came into work. Then it can kind of mess you up at the tail end of service. So let's say you get through service, that's that. Service is over with, you're good to go, you're like, man, now it's time to clean up. Everybody has to clean up. You have to clean up, make sure that your station is good. And then what I used to do at Wolfgang, it was like I said, I'm gonna go take off and do the orders, or you do the orders, and then I'll check out the line, or something like that. Or right now, I'll be like, all right, guys, Cam, KT, you're gonna, put away, or do the inventory on the waste log, make sure that dishwashers are checked out, do all that stuff. I'm gonna go write my nightly reports. I'm gonna do my orders. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Communicate with each other, and then after that, make sure that at the end of the night, when you do your walkthrough, that all of the equipment's off. And if you have something going on overnight, make sure that the vent is on, because we've got to make sure that if something like a stock's going or a smoker's going overnight, that it's not going to smoke out the kitchen. So you have to do that follow through, that check. Just walk around the kitchen. Look, if something needs to be thrown out or if something needs to be wiped up, as a closing supervisor, as a closing cook, you should take care of that. So that's that. And then you'll get checked out. I'll say you're good to go. Or me, what I do at the end of the night, do my nightly reports, this, that, and the other, do the prep list for the next day. So I'm not in a hurry in the morning. I already know. I kind of got what my idea is going to go. And then all right, I'm going to get off work. And then you get off work, and then usually by that time it's around 10:30, 11, midnight. What else is there to do? Go to the bar, chef life. Or you can go to the gym. I've done that before. When I was trying to get sober and stuff like that, just go to the gym after work. Or just go to the movies if they're nothing's open, but you can rent some movies, and just do something like that. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna go to the bar, hang out with your buddies, talk to war stories, be like, oh man, today Tommy Lightpants, did you see what he did? Oh dude, he spilled a whole bunch of macaroni and cheese, noodles all over the floor. Oh my gosh, you should have seen it. Or, oh hey man, Cam, did you see what Cam did? He dropped a hot box coming off the elevator. Did you see that? Oh man, that was such a mess. Oh, now he knows what not to do. He knows what not to do is to push a hot box off the elevator instead of pull the hot box off the elevator. So that's like kind of like, you know, like kind of like a day in the life. And then, you know, maybe after the bar you might go hit up another after party, or you might just go home and then think about tomorrow's service, and then you get up and then it's the whole other thing again, and it's the same thing over and over again. But every day you get a little bit better. You get a little bit better at what you do. And that's what I said earlier. It's like the beautiful thing about working in the kitchen is that if you mess up, you know what not to do next time. And if you follow that rule, learn from your mistakes, then you'll grow as a cook, as a chef, and you'll have a nice career. So, once again, I am Tony Making Food Mata. That was a Tony Talk, a modified view of a day in the life of a chef and the culinary industry. Thank you, and have a good day.